Anxiety is not only emotional noise, it is often a signal that something inside you is disconnected from its original center. Many ancient teachings suggest that inner turbulence can be amplified by external systems designed to fragment attention and weaken clarity. The Gnostic tradition described these forces as influences that operate through confusion, repetition, and inner instability. According to preserved teachings, Jesus transmitted words that restored coherence to the mind and reconnected the individual with deeper awareness. One of these words was SHLAMA, an Aramaic expression associated with completeness, calm, and inner restoration. This word was not merely spoken as language, but understood as a reminder of an inner state that cannot be taken or controlled. When this state is remembered, anxiety begins to lose its structure. Within the Gnostic perspective, anxiety is not only a personal struggle, but a fragmentation of attention that disconnects awareness from its origin. Ancient texts often describe the human being as possessing an interior dimension that remains stable even when external conditions are unstable. Jesus repeatedly referred to peace, not as something granted by the world, but as something already present within the individual. The Aramaic word SHLAMA reflects a condition of inner completeness, where the mind no longer divides experience into fear and anticipation. In this understanding, anxiety emerges when perception becomes overly attached to uncertain projections of the future. The teaching associated with SHLAMA points toward a return to internal coherence, where awareness is no longer pulled apart by imagined outcomes. This shift does not remove responsibility, but reduces unnecessary mental turbulence. The Gnostic tradition describes inner calm as a form of sovereignty that cannot be easily influenced by external pressure. When Jesus spoke about peace, the implication was not escape from reality, but clarity within reality. The meaning of SHLAMA suggests a restoration of wholeness, where perception becomes less reactive and more grounded in present awareness. Anxiety often feeds on imagined scenarios that repeat internally without resolution. The contemplative use of SHLAMA functions as a reminder that the mind does not need to follow every projection it produces. This recognition creates distance between awareness and the cycle of mental urgency. Over time, this distance weakens patterns that sustain persistent worry. If these Gnostic teachings are awakening a desire for inner transformation within you, I left a gift for you in the comments to help you discover the beginning of this path. Some Gnostic interpretations describe disruptive mental patterns as forces that maintain distraction from inner clarity. These influences were symbolically described as structures that fragment attention and amplify internal noise. Within this framework, Jesus emphasized a peace that exists independently of external validation or control. The word SHLAMA represents more than emotional comfort, pointing instead toward a stable condition of inner alignment. When awareness returns to this alignment, reactive thinking gradually loses intensity. Anxiety thrives on continuous anticipation, yet anticipation weakens when attention becomes centered rather than scattered. The repetition of SHLAMA is not intended as mechanical ritual, but as conscious recollection of inner stability. The deeper implication is that calm does not need to be constructed, only remembered. In many ancient teachings, peace is described as a natural condition temporarily obscured by constant stimulation. Jesus often communicated that clarity becomes accessible when attention is no longer dominated by external pressures. The Aramaic resonance of SHLAMA reflects a return to internal balance, where thought no longer multiplies unnecessary urgency. Anxiety often intensifies when awareness attempts to control outcomes that remain uncertain. The contemplative recognition of SHLAMA interrupts this pattern by reminding the mind that not every thought requires engagement. As mental noise decreases, perception becomes more stable and less reactive to imagined threats. This shift does not eliminate challenges, but reduces the internal amplification of them. Get ready in the next video. I will reveal more sacred Aramaic words that unlock deeper spiritual understanding. Turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Gnostic writings frequently suggest that inner stability weakens the influence of systems that depend on confusion and distraction. When perception becomes calmer, decision-making becomes clearer and less driven by urgency. Jesus presented peace as something not granted by institutions, but recognized through direct awareness. The word SHLAMA symbolizes this recognition of internal coherence that does not depend on external approval. Anxiety often creates the impression that stability must be earned through control, Yet many traditions suggest stability precedes control. When awareness reconnects with this underlying steadiness, emotional turbulence becomes less dominant. The reminder of SHLAMA encourages observation rather than reaction, allowing the mind to settle naturally. Remember to visit my site to get your free Gnostic Awakening Guide. There you will also find my advanced ebooks for those ready to fully break the Archon matrix and step into divine abundance. Everything you need is waiting for you. The link is right below. The teaching associated with Jesus does not present peace as distant or unreachable, but as something closer than thought itself. The Aramaic expression SHLAMA continues to represent a state of completeness that does not rely on constant reassurance. Within the Gnostic view, remembering this completeness weakens patterns that depend on inner fragmentation. Anxiety begins to lose its intensity when awareness no longer identifies with every passing projection. The restoration of calm becomes possible when attention returns to what is stable beneath temporary mental activity. Right now, before you close this video, come to the comments and tell us, what did you feel? What shifted? We read every single response. And if this teaching found you today, subscribe to this channel. Every week, we go deeper into the ancient frequency codes that were always meant to be yours.